Yeah, you guys have no idea how many times I recorded this video before it fucked up several times. Ugh. Okay, that's enough of my whining, but okay. This video is titled, Why Your Goal Weight is Stupid. For the 80th goddamn time I gotta record this shit. I'm sorry, I'm just so fucking pissed. Alright, so you ever talked to someone previously in regards to like, they're pursuing an ideal physique or an ideal goal? I'm just trying to turn this off, it's kind of loud. Much better. So you ever talk to someone they're pursuing some sort of, they have an ideal physique in mind and they have an ideal goal weight, and they ask themselves, or you're overhearing a conversation and someone's asking another person, how much are you trying to weigh by then? And then depending on the response you get, you either look at them with complete, you look at them and say, okay, I can see that I can see that on, whatever, or you do the exact opposite and you kind of squint like I'm squinting right now and go like, that's just completely bonkers. There's no way in hell you're going to reach that weight within a certain amount of time, or there's no way you can even hope to reach this composition. And that's if you're aware of certain things. Now, okay, so the fuck. See, this is why you shouldn't record shit like 37 times, because now your thoughts are all over the place. So this video is titled, Why Your Goal Weight is Stupid. Now, reason number one, your goal weight might stem from your lack of understanding or even your preconception of what you think you'll look like upon reaching it. So, for example, let's say if you want six-pack abs, this is everyone's goal. This is a very cliche goal that everybody wanted. You know, everyone wants this goal. Who doesn't want to have, I'm stuttering my ass off, but who doesn't want to have like a shredded six-pack? Like, who doesn't want to look, you know, shredded as fuck, whatever, on the beach? Your abs are all out, whatever. You know, the freaking chicks are looking at you and shit. Like, that's awesome, right? Oh, shredded six-packs and all that, right? But let's say someone is 5'11" and they're 202 pounds, and they say, I want to be 10 pounds lighter while having six-pack abs. Now, if you're unfamiliar of body composition, you might think that's reasonable. You might think it's possible for them to lose 10 pounds and see visible abdominal muscles within a certain amount of time. However, as someone who's tried it themselves, no. You're not going to lose 10 pounds and expect to have six-pack abs if you're starting at 5'11", 202 pounds. Considering the sheer amount of body fat you'll have in your body, you're going to have to lose much more weight than that. And it's not uncommon for someone of this description to falsely assume that they will reach said goal after losing 10 pounds. This belief blatantly stems from their lack of understanding of body fat percentages as well as the overall composition. You know, as well as how things fall on their body. And so they mistakenly assume that, you know, losing 10, 20, you know, losing 10 pounds, whatever, will get them that. So I'm repeating myself, but another iteration of this example is on the opposing end of it. It's another extreme, but it's on the opposing side of the spectrum. Let's say there's someone who's 5'7" and they have dreams of becoming 250 pounds of solid goddamn muscle. Now, if you're familiar with how massive that is, I want you to look at guys on Mr. Olympia. I want you to consider an individual by the name of Phil Heath, by example. I don't think he ever reached 250 on stage at his height. If I'm not mistaken, he might be 5'9", so that's 2 inches taller than 5'7", but he was never 250 on stage. Imagine him, that's someone who's 5'7" at 250 pounds. That is a Tekken fighter. That's a Street Fighter. Like, that guy is massive. Hell, I don't even think Ryu stats are like or that crazy. I think Ryu's 5'7" or 5'9". Correct me if I'm wrong, but someone who's 5'7", 250 goddamn pounds at 10% body fat, let alone, you know, like 5, that guy is gigantic. I think an individual by the name of Chris Jones, representing Pump Chasers now. He's not representing Physiques of Greatness anymore, but Pump Chasers, you know, for all the OGs out there who remember when he competed in a bodybuilding show, he was roughly a $195 or a $190, I forgot, and he was 5'7" at that weight, and he looked incredible. Like, you know, he was striated, he was show ready. But even when he's hole ready instead of show ready, yeah, hole ready. Like, these are his terms, not my terms. They're awesome terms. I love these terms, right? They're hilarious. They have camaraderie behind them. But even when he's hole ready, right, he's not anywhere close to 250 pounds, yet he has fullness. So this mistake stems from a lack of understanding of anything. So, well, lifetime wise, a person will not be 5'7", 250. It's just not gonna fucking happen. And oftentimes you reach another level of stupidity or another level of absurdity within this goal weight, in which they go through a 6 month bulk. This is the opposite side of the spectrum of expecting to lose 10 pounds and having six pack, whatever. On this side of the spectrum, this person expects to bulk 6 months at whatever starting weight they decide. Let's say they're 200 pounds and they decide to bulk 6 months. There's no way in hell they're gonna gain 50 pounds of pure fucking muscle. Assuming they're of adequate weight, assuming they're of average weight in a goddamn lifetime, let alone 6 months. They're going from 200 pounds at 5'7", which is by the way, they're not gonna be. They won't let their lift at 200 pounds at 5'7", assuming they're of healthy body fat percentage, whatever, or even if they're regular percentages, whatever. Like if you're 5'7", you're of a regular composition relative to the population, and you're 200 pounds, you're already starting from a position which you have a sufficient amount of body fat percentage. You have more than enough fat to stay there and build muscle. However, this person decides to bulk, and so through this bulk, they falsely assume that okay, I have to reach this arbitrary number of 250 to look massive. And I've been there. Like I've been through that stupidity. Like I previously thought that to myself, right? Despite not being 5'7", I'm 6'1", but they make this false assumption that they have to reach the arbitrary goal to reach a certain body composition in order to look full. However, they're going to be very disappointed once they get to the opposing side with elevated blood pressure, with going from wearing size 32 pants to size 48. Your boy did that shit. not the best feeling on the planet. And yes, the circumference of your arm will increase. However, it's going to be a lot of fat, a lot of glycogen, a lot of water, barely any visible muscle on your body will be added. This stems from this is just the opposing extreme end of not understanding composition, not understanding how significant 5 pounds of muscle is on the body. 5 pounds, let alone 50, will change everything about you in terms of your appearance. Your appearance, you are going to be a fucking mutant. You're going to be morphed compared to how you were previously. You're going to look exceptional with only 5 pounds added. 50 pounds is a different level. However, these people have a false conception of composition. And that's reason number 2 of why goal weight is stupid. In this scenario, the hypothetical person does not understand. Yeah, I said that already. Yeah, so this brings me to reason number 2. Hopefully this is a smooth transition why goal weights are stupid. Goal weights are always, if not 90% of the time, accompanied by unrealistic deadlines. In the scenarios I provided previously, this person wants to lose, in scenario number 1, this person wants to lose 10 pounds and expect to have a 6-pack within by then, right? That, and the second scenario, this person wants to bulk in 6 months, starting from a certain goal weight, in order to, I gotta pause it and come. Bathroom break concluded. Bathroom break concluded. So in scenario number 1, this person wanted to lose 10 pounds and expect to have a 6-pack. In scenario number 2, this person expects to gain 50 goddamn pounds of muscle within a certain dead point, assuming that he's 5'7" at 200 pounds, even though he's starting from a very relatively overweight state. And these stem from unrealistic deadlines. They have an expectation. It's comparable to instant gratification. Well, it's not comparable to instant gratification, but it stems from wanting things to be done fast. They want things to be done quickly. It's almost sort of a quick fix. And a lot of people expect to reach their goal weight within, sooner rather than later. It will likely take much longer to lose weight than you think it will. It's unrealistic to expect to lose 40 pounds in a span of, in a span of 3 months, let alone 1 month, which a lot of people I have personal experience with this. I recovered from a terrible bulk, my hardcore 2017 winter bulk, where I was just trying to be massive as shit. And I ended up having to take 6.5 months to go from 240 pounds, to 200 pounds flat, right? And upon reaching 200 pounds, I looked more vascular. However, I lost a bunch of size, a lot of water, a lot of glycogen within the muscles, a lot of, hell, I'd argue I lost muscle as well. That was just, the deficit was far too lengthy, and I wasn't progressing in the gym further. My strength was going down. The only thing that counterbalanced that was I can finally fit my fat ass in a size 32. I was super stoked about that. I didn't have to worry about that. Although although clothing felt much more slimmer on the upper portion of like shirts and all that, hoodies, like I wasn't fitting into them like as much. And then I always had this preconceived notion as someone who's 6'1" that I needed to be 230 pounds, right? And this brings me to point number 3. The composition you desire as a natural lifter may not be at the goal weight destination that you've prescribed yourself as, this predetermined goal weight that you determined yourself in order to look a certain aesthetic fashion. You might not need to reach that in order to gain an aesthetic physique that you can be proud of. That happened with me. In the summer of love in 2020, when our dick of a governor decided to close down gyms along with businesses and pretty much bankrupt, pretty much causing a bunch of economic destruction because, oh my God, we're going to die from a virus that has an over 99% rate of survival. Yeah, I just went there. I decided to do my calisthenic workouts. I went to the park to weighted calisthenics because I knew that was optimal. And I ended up doing cardio by accident. And I ended up walking to the park, of course, with this heavy-ass backpack. And I took a manual labor job at Amazon, everybody's favorite warehouse where Jeff Bezos abuses his warehouse employees without realizing it. That's another video for another topic, but I ended up going from, how heavy was I? I was recovering from I went from 200 pounds to 195, all the way down to 187. I'll never forget it. So I weighed myself and I was like, what? I'm 187? However, like to a lot of people, whatever, I didn't look 187. I looked 195, 200 max, right? And it was just insane, right? So I reached a level of conditioning and a level of vascularity, a level of fullness that I never thought was possible with someone of my past ancestry, with someone of my heritage, someone of my background. I never thought that I'd be able to have visible abs, vascularity, with having this respectable amount of muscle fullness at that percentage of body fat at 187 pounds. Like that seemed unbelievable to me. And then I ended up, when gyms finally reopened, I attacked gyms with a vengeance, and I ended up doing my favorite heavy knee flexions, my favorite heavy hip hinges, right? Well, I don't really have a favorite heavy hip hinge besides a squat. That's all I do, right? But I introduced squats into my regimen for the first time in several actual attempts because of my lower back problems, in which I rectified, which with each gradual steps, the sumo deadlifts completely saved my lower back. I'll make a video about that. But upon being able to finally hip hinge and deadlift and squat safely, right, I ended up adding size to my frame, and I ended up going from 187 to 190 to 195, and now I'm 200 pounds within a span of 2.5 years, I'd say. It was a very gradual increase because I wanted to stay at the body fat percentage that I was at 187. And in doing so, I'm 200 pounds now, and people would look at me and say, "Oh no, you have to be 220 max." If you ask me, if you show a picture of myself to a younger version of Professor Art, I would assume that I would be 220 at that body weight, 230 at most. I assumed that I needed to be 240 pounds in order to this goal weight that I prescribed myself at. I assumed that I needed this goal weight in order to look a certain way, and that's point number 3. You don't need this goal weight. You might have a goal weight that is much more lower than what you thought you'd actually need in order to look impressive. You don't have to be 200 pounds to look impressive, like you actually lift. People, when you're on the street and you're wearing your fitted shirt, right, people are going to know that you lift. You're someone who focuses on the compound movements while combining some isolations, while programming in a dapper fashion, while if your nutrition is on point, your sleep is on point, and you're growing adequately. People are going to be able to tell that you train. And the point isn't to train for other people. The point is to look at yourself objectively speaking and look at people who actually have been doing this for a relatively long time. Are they going to be guys who are extremely heavy? No. Oftentimes they're going to be people who have great conditioning, who understand their bodies, and who decide to abstain from the game of power, in a sense where they're trying to reach this arbitrary goal weight, and they're trying desperately to be 220 at 5'7" or 230 or 250 at 5'7", which is unrealistic as shit. Because as I mentioned previously, if you're natural, the likelihood of you reaching these astronomical and robust numbers is just completely retarded, and you don't even need these numbers to look impressive. So why have the ideal goal weight? Why have a goal weight to begin with? Why not simply look at yourself objectively in the mirror and decide how you're progressing? it's not often we get so caught up in numbers that we prescribe ourselves goal weights, and that's where they all stem from. They stem from the objectivity. These You want to have a certain faction of certainty because you look at individuals like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You look at WWE wrestlers and you think to yourself, they're heavy, so I must be heavy too. No, you don't have to be heavy in order to be aesthetic. You don't have to be heavy in order to look like you're muscular. You don't have to be heavy in order to be powerful. And in summation, well, the opposing flip side of the scenario is, yes, if you're somebody who wants six-pack abs, yes, it's going to take a longer time period. You're going to have to be lighter. You're going to have to be lighter in order to undo the damage you did previously to your body. You're going to be, and it all goes both ways. Your goal weight might be much lower than you thought it would be, and that's okay. So, in summation, goal weights are stupid because you don't need a goal weight in order to look impressive. Look at yourself in the mirror. How do you feel in your clothing? Are you comfortable in your skin? And that's pretty much it, guys, for the video. 16 minutes long is enough. I'm going to edit this stuttering and the retardation previously that I see I'm doing it right now. But yeah, peace, guys.
Choose your fighter!